Before we start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video for more content like this. For years, Mexico has been home to one of the most violent criminal conflicts in modern history. Entire regions have become battlefields. Cities have been turned into war zones. And powerful drug cartels now control territories that rival the authority of the government itself. But in 2026, something happened that many believed would finally weaken one of the most dangerous criminal empires in the world. A man known as Nemesio Ruben Oscura Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, was killed during a military operation. He was the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most powerful and violent cartels in Mexico. For years, his organization dominated the global drug trade and terrorized communities across the country. But instead of bringing peace, his death may have triggered something far worse. A new cartel war, and it is quickly becoming one of the deadliest conflicts Mexico has seen in decades. To understand the chaos unfolding today, we must first understand how Mexico's cartel wars began. Back in 2006, the Mexican government launched a massive military campaign against organized crime. Soldiers were deployed across the country in an attempt to dismantle the powerful drug cartels that controlled much of the narcotics trade. This marked the beginning of what is now known as the Mexican Drug War. At first, the goal was simple: eliminate cartel leaders and destroy their organizations. But something unexpected happened. Every time a cartel leader was arrested or killed, their empire didn't disappear. Instead, it fractured. Former allies turned into enemies. Rival factions fought for control. Smaller gangs formed and began battling for territory. Violence spread across the country, and over time the conflict became more brutal and more complex. By the 2010s, Mexico had dozens of competing criminal groups fighting for control of drug routes, cities, and entire states. Among them, one organization began to rise faster and more violently than the rest: the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. The cartel was led by a mysterious and ruthless figure, Nemesio Ruben Oscura Cervantes. To the world, he was known simply as El Mencho. Under his leadership, the cartel grew into a global criminal empire. It trafficked massive amounts of methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl into the United States and other international markets. But what truly set the organization apart was its extreme violence. The cartel became known for military-style operations, armored vehicles, heavy weapons, highly organized combat units. Entire police departments were outgunned. In some regions, the cartel operated almost like a parallel government. They controlled towns, forced businesses to pay protection money, and punished anyone who resisted their authority. As the cartel expanded, it began clashing with rival criminal organizations. One of its most powerful enemies was the Sinaloa cartel, a cartel that had dominated the drug trade for decades. The rivalry between these groups turned parts of Mexico into active war zones. Shootouts erupted in major cities. Convoys of armed gunmen patrolled highways. Entire communities were caught in the middle, and at the center of it all was El Mencho. For years, he remained one of the most wanted men in the world. Authorities offered millions of dollars for information leading to his capture. But despite countless operations and raids, he continued to evade authorities until 2026. Early that year, Mexican security forces launched a large-scale military operation targeting cartel leadership in the state of Jalisco. The mission quickly escalated into a violent confrontation. Gunmen loyal to the cartel fought back fiercely. Heavy gunfire erupted. Explosions echoed through the region. But when the fighting ended, one of the most powerful cartel leaders in the world was dead. El Mencho had been killed. For the Mexican government, it was a major victory. For years, he had been one of the most dangerous criminals on the planet, but his death created an immediate and dangerous problem: power. Because when a cartel leader disappears, the empire they built does not vanish. Instead, everyone begins fighting to control it. Almost immediately, violence surged across several Mexican states. Roads were blocked by burning vehicles. Gun battles erupted between armed groups. Cities were placed on high alert. Residents reported hearing constant gunfire. In some areas, businesses closed early as people rushed home, afraid of getting caught in the violence. Security forces deployed across multiple regions in an attempt to restore order. But the situation was rapidly spiraling. Inside the Jalisco New Generation cartel, factions began fighting for control. Powerful lieutenants who once served under El Mencho now saw an opportunity to take the throne. Each group wanted to control the cartel's massive drug trafficking network. The stakes were enormous. Whoever controlled the organization would inherit one of the most profitable criminal empires in the world. And that meant the fighting would only get worse. But the chaos didn't stop there. Rival cartels quickly saw an opportunity. The Sinaloa cartel, one of the oldest and most powerful criminal organizations in Mexico, began moving to expand its influence. For years, it had fought violent battles with the Jalisco cartel for control of strategic territories. Now those territories were vulnerable. Drug routes, ports, and border crossings suddenly became contested ground. Armed groups began moving into regions that were once firmly under CJNG control. This triggered new waves of violence. Shootouts erupted between rival factions. Communities already traumatized by years of cartel violence were once again caught in the crossfire. And in some cities, the situation began to resemble open warfare. Even within the Sinaloa cartel itself, internal divisions were already causing problems. After the arrest of the infamous cartel boss Joaquin Guzman, leadership struggles began to emerge. Different factions competed for influence within the organization. These internal conflicts added another layer of instability to an already volatile situation. Now, with the fall of El Mencho, the balance of power across Mexico's criminal underworld is shifting once again. Cartels are expanding, territories are changing hands, and violent clashes are becoming more frequent. Meanwhile, the Mexican government faces an enormous challenge. For nearly 2 decades, authorities have tried to dismantle cartel networks by targeting their leaders. But each time a leader falls, another one rises. The strategy has weakened some organizations, but it has also created dozens of smaller, more unpredictable groups. And these groups are often even more violent than the cartels that came before them. Today, many regions of Mexico remain under the influence of organized crime. Cartels control drug production, trafficking routes, and illegal industries worth billions of dollars. And as long as those profits exist, the fight for power will continue. The death of El Mencho was supposed to mark the end of one of the most feared criminal empires in the world. Instead, it may have ignited a new and even more dangerous chapter in Mexico's cartel wars. Because when a king falls in the world of organized crime, the throne never stays empty for long. Someone always rises to claim it, and until that struggle ends, the violence gripping Mexico may only continue to grow. The cartel war is far from over. In many ways, it may only be beginning. Thanks for watching. Please remember to hit the subscribe button.